Hey guys, it's Cassandra, and I'm here live with you from Beats to Live By on this lovely Halloween evening. I kind of scheduled this at the last minute, so I apologize to anyone that wanted to catch it live and didn't make it. I know that is 100% my fault. So it's just been one of those months where everything starts to blur together, and I've been doing several videos in a week at times, along with getting a lot of inventory in recently. So we're really excited about that. That also means that life is a little crazy right now. So I'm coming to you in this one of the scariest costumes I could think of without makeup, and it's kind of like a little bit of a pajama party. I got my slippers and my leggings on. I hope you guys are comfy. It's 8:30 in Michigan right now, so I know we're on the late end of things in the country, but maybe you're getting home from work and getting comfy if you're on the West Coast. So welcome to our live tutorial, and if you're catching the replay, we are just as excited to have you here. I am going to be demoing this little earring that I came up with for Dia de los Muertos, which would actually start, I believe, technically tomorrow, but and don't mind my Band-Aid. I had a little bit of a injury this afternoon while making some food and still getting used to some new knives we have. So but these earrings were inspired by my recent trip to the DIA, which, for those of you that are not from Michigan, is the Detroit Institute of Arts. We have a beautiful museum just about an hour away from our community, and we're super lucky to have it there. And they do a lovely ofrenda exhibit every fall now, which ties into the Dia de Muertos holiday. So that was super inspiring exhibit to see, and I always enjoy the holiday and celebrating in my own way every year, but seeing how other people from various traditions choose to celebrate it and kind of play off of the different types of themes that you can create, and the ofrendas that were there were it was really cool. So this was specifically, there's a lot of kind of sorts of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm totally blanking. It's a holiday celebrating the dead. It's celebrating those in the afterlife, and they're supposed to be coming toward, and I'm sure there's lots of people who could explain it much better than myself, but the idea is that your loved ones that have passed on are actually joining you for a period of time on Earth every year. And so you see a lot of skeletons, and it's because you're not thinking of it as them being gone and being sad. There's tons of color. There's delicious foods prepared and left out for those that are no longer with us, and it's really a fantastic tradition that I so enjoy watching those who celebrate and how they choose to celebrate it. So hi Maria, hi Rosalinda, happy Halloween. I know. Sorry, I was seeing some spam messages show up, so I had to quick put the kibosh on those, and then realized I had just comments in general. So if anyone out there celebrates Dia de Muertos and happens to be watching, I would love their input and explanation of a little bit more of the tradition in the culture. But these earrings, as I said, incorporate the skeletons and that kind of involvement in the holiday. And then also there's a lot of flowers and the colorfulness of it. So even though I've got the black background with the ring and some of the accents and the wire, I made sure that the flowers and the pips that we used and the skull were nice and bright, because that is definitely a traditional idea. So hi, everybody. It's so good to see you guys. I am surprised I have anybody watching because it was such a last minute post. Oh, yes, Dark Star. I don't know your name outside of your YouTube profile, but I will be sharing. That's the other thing on my beadboard tonight. We're just going to try to go through and get through these earrings both in the same evening. So this I came up with yesterday after sitting down with our new daggers. And these seed beads are from our October subscription colors of the curated collection. So if you guys are not familiar with that, you can find all of those things over on our website. And there are like banners or tabs across the top, but you can also search through just like the little search bar. Oh, hi, Mary. Thanks for introducing yourself. I'm so glad you joined me and that you were excited about the earrings. That makes me so happy. I'm going to quick go through these because I really owe everyone who bought kits for this a quick tutorial, even though it looks like most everyone just went ahead and made them up themselves, which I am so proud of everyone for being so independent. Well done, family. You guys are fantastic. So this hoop is probably about 3/4 of an inch wide, but it's a hammered ring from Cast in the, I think it's a black finish, but it definitely looks like a black finish. And then our craft wire is a, oh goodness, I think I am using a 24 gauge. I cut myself up a nice big chunk. And now I'm totally forgetting what size. It's either a 24 or 26 gauge. I think 26 gauge would be a little thin for this, but you never know. So black, though, to coordinate with our project. Oh, thanks, Mary. I appreciate that about the dagger earrings. So I've got about 1.5 feet here of craft wire. And I like to stick the short end through my hoop and just give it a couple wraps around that hammered ring or hoop. It really is helpful to have a ring, not just a hoop where you've got like a flat surface to work on for something like this. And I'll show you guys why. But we're just going to give that a couple wraps. And then instead of trimming off your unused end of the wire, ooh, I almost threw my bead triangle, you are going to grab your round nose pliers, and hopefully you've got some that taper down a little bit at the end, because our plan is we use that just one side of the pliers as a mandrel, and you're going to just take your finger and wrap all the way to the end. If you have too much wire, you can always trim some of the end off. You don't have to coil everything. But I was making these while I was watching Hocus Pocus too, and it was just really fun. I got inspired by all the like kitschy Halloween garb. So, oh, Rosalinda, I'm so glad you were able to catch us at the last minute. I try to give everybody a heads up, but this week it was like I just needed to get this in. So now, when you're working on your second earring, you do want to pay attention to, like with this earring, I started, on one end and worked the other way. So I want to mirror that image. It's not like crucial kind of, end of the world situation, but it's helpful to, hi, Susie. It's helpful to have a mirror image earring if you are especially gifting or selling them. For myself, it's like if my earrings end up lopsided, I don't care. But so I guess since I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. Get some of these other guys out of the way. Start with that green leaf side. So I'm working from over here, And I say green leaf, but these are our fabulous little pip beads, PIP, and it's like that cute little drop shape. So we're going to string on one of those. And this is a pretty free-form type of project, but I will show you. Got to get it onto the right side of the project so that I'm actually mirroring that. So when you start to string that pip on, I actually go backwards through like the way that I wrap. So I'm going to flip that pip this direction towards the coil, and I'm going to pull my wire because that's going to actually flip the pip out so that it's facing, so you can see it, like you can see the flat side of it. And the coils, like I was wearing my earrings on Saturday night this weekend, and they kind of catch if you've got longer hair or if you're wearing like a fuzzy sweater. So just be prepared to reshape those coils every once in a while. But then I just wrapped a couple more wraps through around the hammered ring, and we've got that going. So with the flowers, you do want, with these little bell flowers, to face this direction when you put them on your wire, because then they sit right on your hoop so that you can see them when you're wearing it. And then I'm just going to take my wire and go through like so. And we're just going to let that wire lay right beside the flower, because I don't think at the end of the day, anyone is going to come up to your ear and look at your adorable earrings and then say, oh, your wire's showing on the outside of your flower. That's sad. You don't need that negativity in your life. Drop that friend. So I'm just giving that a nice tight pull on my first wrap, and I'm going to secure it with at least one more before I add anything else. Really, the key to this type of work is a couple wraps in between each of your fixtures to secure this. Mary, the green bead is a pip, a PIP pip bead. And we have lots of pips listed on our website if you like the looks of that bead. They look so cute with the flowers. Yes, Maria, and actually asymmetrical earrings are the new thing, so you'll be just as stylish as ever if you go ahead and make your earrings that way. Oh, I really meant to incorporate these cute little bright fuchsia bellflowers that are a little bit smaller than some of my other ones, and I never put them on the original ones. So yes, Maria, I always say if somebody's close enough to see your mistake in your beadwork, then you should slap them. I think a throat punch would be my defensive choice these days. I talk a big game, and occasionally I do follow through, but I don't want people in my personal space. Beaters are the exception. Like, everybody's allowed to look at the jewelry, but it's like, do not, if you are not here for a purpose, stay back. And the purpose has to be approved by me too. Can't just be your purpose that you. I'm glad I can amuse you guys. Seriously, thanks for being here. It's so hard sometimes to, like, I don't know, like I feel like I have to have a full face of makeup on and pre-post like times and schedules, and I just really enjoy the fact that you guys are okay with me just showing up as I am, as long as I'm showing you pretty things, right? So thank you for that. Oh gosh, I'm just staring at, look at this little, it's so cute. Okay. So once I get that side on there, the other thing is I really like the idea of this design not being symmetrical in and of itself. So what I mean is, when I hold this up, technically, you know, the flowers are lower on one side than the other. And that was purposeful because I really, the center ends up being off center. Oh, thanks, Maria. I'm sorry, I was not fishing for compliments. It's the mirage of the camera, we'll say that. I don't know if it's rosacea or what, but in my almost 40s now these days, I have a pretty uneven skin tone, so I'm always really self-conscious of that. Maria, the green pips might be out of stock because I pulled some for the kits, but if I have them, I think they're a pastel finish and they're like olivine or something along those lines. I promise if you shoot me a private message on the Facebook page or an email, I can get you a link to the exact color and make sure we have some in stock first. But I do have some of these kits still listed, guys. So if you are looking for like all the same beads I used, I have it all in a nice little neat package of the kit. And then if you would like extras of those pips, I still would be happy to share that color name with you. Rosalinda. I would like to just give the illusion that I am quite violent for anyone who has like bad intentions. That way I don't have to worry about it. They can believe that I'd hurt them if that's what it takes to keep them away. And then all the beaters know they can like put their face right up against my neck, like, "Ooh, what's that necklace?" So I've got 6 of my seed beads on here, and again, these are in the kits, but this is one of our colors. This is that great pumpkin color from the October curated collection. So when I have that wire coming off the bottom, what's turned into the bottom of the earring or the back of the earring, I'm going to go through the front or the top of the ring now. And you have to kind of hold your seed beads in place while you get, so you got to position those like so, and then you have to make some good tight wraps with your end of your wire that you're working with. So keep going, and you're going in the same direction like through the hoop each time, but at least a couple to get that in there. And you could make your wrap for your skull first, like your little dangle with the head pin, and put that on as you make the loop if you wanted to. Either way. Why, yes, Maria, I agree with you. That would be an excellent choice to pair the those green pips with the curated collection for October. I'm so glad you're enjoying the colors. Okay, so we've got another one of those pips on there. This one is the Fabulous. And I mean, you guys can place your colors and beads wherever you want, frankly. It's just, I like to show people exactly what I did, because if you get a kit or buy beads with the intention of making something look like what I made, then I don't want to not give you that option. But I encourage people to be creative and do their own thing too. So now we've got one of the, so this flower is almost a red, but I think it's got like a luster finish to it or something. Oh, trust me, I know about that. Rosalinda. Your husband misbehaving? Oh, I flipped it over. Yeah, watch yourself. Sometimes it's easy to flip this over to the back and then your flower might get misplaced. All right, so, and it's really nice if they sit not like facing the same direction each time as they move around. Flower or floral crowns are a fixture in Dia de Muertos celebrations. So that's where I had the idea to create the hoop like focal above the skeleton. It's an exaggerated or abstract crown of flowers for that sweet little skeleton bead, but you do, unless you're doing something different than what the technique is that I'm showing you, you do want to make sure you get that flower on that direction each time. It really helps it to sit properly. And then when you're nestling these together, it kind of just happens naturally, but getting them to sit, you know, like one off the one direction, one off the other direction, it's a good look for those flowers. And then especially at the ends when you're like gonna trim your wire and make your coil loop or your little coil, it's like the tendril of a fern or something, or a flower, a vine. That's what I'm thinking of, probably a vine. But yes, when you're getting ready to end your wire, you do really want to make sure you've got some good solid wraps in there at the end. They really blend in well because of this black wire too. You guys are cracking each other up too, aren't you? And if you find something else besides your pliers that you can use as a mandrel, more power to you. I just didn't bother looking for anything because I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want it to be. But they are kind of a pain. So you have to hold them, you know, so specifically to get your coiling in. I apologize for any video interruptions. Oh, there we go. Sometimes my internet on my iPad is not as strong as the phone for whatever reason, so. Okay, ta-da! Always, it's how he landed himself in the hospital with a heart attack and congestive heart failure. Oh no! Maria, I hope that wasn't recent. Thank you, Mary. I've got a Maria and a Mary, right? I just realized that I started to lose track for a second. Oh, and I lost it. So yeah, that's the majority of it there. I'm gonna try to curl this tendril down a little. Well, you know what? Okay, I'll show you guys my trick because I don't want them both pointing up all funky like that. So I'm gonna bring this one around because it was kind of sticking out and it had like a straight spot to it. And you can just wrap it right around your project and like tuck it in because we do want some of it to be a little wild. Like that's the whole point. Like imagine, I don't remember which witch in Hocus Pocus 2 or Hocus Pocus just in general, there's the witch with the red, I think it's Bette Midler's character that's wearing like the super curly red hair. And that's what the tendrils were kind of fashioned after. Oh, Mary, I think it's 24 gauge. I need to recheck my, because I made kits, I didn't create a good supply list for this video, but I'll comment on the video later and ensure that people have the full supply list. So these ear wires are really not made to go around something this size, but we're gonna make it work. So it basically kind of sits a little open, more so than we would normally do for a needle and thread project, but it's not a problem because it's not going anywhere on your hammered ring there. So it'll still hold it in place nicely. And then the last thing you have to do is just throw this little skeleton on the head pin, and I like to add this little crystal accent. It's a 3mm bicone. Just a little something extra. And we're just gonna do our basic wire wrap loop where we've got that bend and then the start of our loop here. I just want to make sure, something to watch for is you want to make sure that your loop size on the two earrings is similar, because if it's not, they'll hang at different lengths, which again is okay. Oh, Rosalinda, I'm so sorry. That is scary and stressful. Scary and stressful. But we do want to leave that loop open because we did finish off our earring already. So we have to slide that little dangle onto the project before we give it a good finishing wrap here. And I leave the skeleton pretty loosey-goosey on there. I don't wrap the pin super tight. That way, if it turns, you can turn it back. Ta-da! Festive and lovely. Yes, Rosalinda, we will all be thinking of you and your family while your husband is healing up from that. So sorry that you're dealing with that right now. I'm glad you're taking time to do things that you find joy in. So I think that's important as caretakers for people to take some time to themselves too. So I'm moving along to, of course, we have to do a new colorway. I can't just stick to the first color I did these earrings in for the, they remind me of dream catchers. So I'm just generically calling, ooh, I'm throwing beads all over too. Just vacuumed out here, darn it. Generically calling them my dream catcher earrings, and it's all size 11 seed beads, and then these new daggers. The daggers will be in the shop on the website soon. The beads in this first sample are from the October curated collection, and the second set you may see in the near future, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. So if you like the colors, hopefully you can track them down soon. And oh, this is the other, one of the other colors. I've got just a few here that I brought home to play with. These laser etched daggers are phenomenal. So excited about that. Super beautiful colors and styles. Yes, Maria, they are very much intended to look like feathers. Absolutely. Now, I want to say for the one pair of earrings, I did not use more than 2 yards of thread. Like a wingspan for me is about 5 feet. So we will test that theory because I'll know after I make one how many feet you would need for both of them. And I am using 1G thread. We just got some awesome 12 packs into the shop. So it's a similar weight to like a 6-pound Fireline or skinnier, but I really like the bounce back from it. It's got a little bit of pop to it. So I'm going to mimic the colors in the way I did the first one a little bit. And I've got to find, like, where did my little, there we go. So these little wireframes, if I don't have them listed as available in the shop on the website right now, I do have a handful of sets, and those I will make sure they're listed at the same time as the daggers. So whenever I announce that, and there's like maybe a couple dozen colors of daggers and designs. So you're welcome, Maria. You know, with something like this, I think being able to use this type of thread is such a nice option because it does blend in really well with the frame. And no matter what color frame you use, you could use different colored thread that way. But if you're a diehard Fireline fan and you don't mind your thread showing a little bit more, then I'm just tying a double overhand knot, trying to work around this darn Band-Aid. And you can keep it pretty firm. You do want it to fall right inside of the, you know, crook of that one section of your project. And then you want to string on 2 seed beads. And this is just regular brick stitch, the way that we do it on any of the frames that we've worked with before. So you got to pull those beads down. I didn't do a good job of keeping them there. And I actually, when I'm working with a project like this, I hold my fingers against the thread with the beads on the other side of it. That keeps them, you want them on the outside of the frame. And then you're going to go back through the bead. And of course, this color is like the hardest one. Yes, Mary, these are size 11s. And I've got, as I mentioned, I've got 3 colors of 11s here. And I'm just going back through both of those beads so that when I come out of my second bead, it's just a little more secure. This color combo is going to be a little more subtle than the first one, but I am excited about it. Thanks, Rosalinda. You too. We'll talk soon. Yeah, Mary, these beads are colors that I am really loving together. So I'm going to pick up just one of the 11s this time. And we're going to add a total of, I believe I have 11 11s. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. So you want to cover 2 sides of the hexagon with a total of 11 beads because you do want to have a center bead on the corner. On the corner of that hex. Now, when you get that bead, I'm having such a hard time. I'm having a neck ache tonight from the way I'm holding my head here. So when we get through this, I'm going to work on camera, but I'm going to do a little quicker job of it because we are going to get through this first part. And I have done other videos that are a little bit slower and more detailed on this aspect of the brick stitch part if you need any additional or slower instructions. So please feel free to refer. Actually, the earrings I'm wearing, I think I did as one of my first few YouTube videos. Forgive me, Mary, is this your first time joining us or have you been around for a bit? I didn't recognize your username from at least previous comments during the live video. And then I've got my 6th bead. This is going on at the corner. And your beads can slide back and forth during this time. So that's why I'm purposely making an effort to place that bead right where it's supposed to go. Probably didn't need as much thread. It would have made it a little bit easier to flip through this, but I am going to move my tools out of the way. Let's keep it tidier over here. There we go. How's your evening going, Maria? Did you guys do anything for Halloween? All of my Halloween celebrations were like last week through Saturday, and even Saturday I didn't like dress up or anything. So it's been pretty low key this year. And the count on these is important because of how you're going to place your daggers eventually and the other subsequent beads. So just in case you guys are wondering, like sometimes brick stitch, it's around a frame like this, you just are trying to cover an area, but with this, we really do have a purpose for the count of how many beads we're adding. For some reason, my thread, and now I'm working around here, working around my camera stand, so now it's like craziness. Here we go. Maybe if I didn't try to work on my tray, that would be easier actually, because then I wouldn't have to. I know it's nice to have the like imagery of the beads, but I think it's actually going to be a little easier not to have that big tray underneath my hands. Okay, there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my 11th bead, and you can really do this with tension. Your goal is to get your beads to space out so that you hit this other corner of the hexagon like so. Maria. That's funny. All right, so now we are moving on to the next row, which is going to involve our other 2 colors, and this is a picot stitch. So we're adding our 2nd and 3rd colors in this fashion. We're doing A, B, A, and then you need to go under the 2nd thread that's showing, and for some reason having that tray underneath of everything really helped this to show up. So there's thread between the first 2 beads, and then the 2nd and 3rd bead. You're going to go underneath the thread that's between the 2nd and 3rd bead. And when those beads pop into place, then you go back through the last bead you added, just as if you were doing the other original brick stitch. Nothing crazy here. So then that causes your beads to pop into place. Now, with every subsequent stitch, just like the rest of brick stitch, you don't add as many beads as you did the first time. You add just a B and then an A. Oh, awesome, Mary. Welcome. Oh my gosh, Maria, so you're a pro. You know exactly what you're doing. And oh, I'm sorry. I almost skipped a step. So this is a modified picot. It's not picot all the way along. We're going to do just one of that color A, and we're going to go through the very next thread, or underneath the very next thread. We want to skip a picot every other stitch. So This is what happens when you do one set of earrings and then you try to teach something. There we go. So then the next time, so every other one, we're going to add one of the color B and then one of the color A for this row. And then go, this time we still go under that next thread that's showing. So part of the reason for this pattern is your goal is to get one of those color B 11s to sit at the center of your hex, or like on the, you want it to be on the elbow. So that's an important part of the process here. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Mary. I'm so glad that you'll get to see some of these beautiful colors in your life soon. And I appreciate your support greatly. That's nice that you're visiting your daughter. You're in California visiting your daughter, but you're from Washington State, is I think what you're saying. I'm glancing at the messages while I work here. Oh, goodness. Throwing stuff around here. Okay. Oh, and then I keep trying to add that extra bead in the wrong spot. So when you just finished a section with a picot, that's your cue, my clue that I'm only adding one bead in the next stitch. And the other trick to know is that you're going to end on a picot. The last stitch you add will be with a picot at the end here. And these the picot beads that are popping out, you can give them kind of a pop with your needle to make them behave. All right, got that under control. We're close, guys. We're really close. I'm gonna bring my board back over here. It's easier for me to work without it, but I think that the light feels like it's not as, or the camera's not focusing as well without that backdrop closer up. So yeah, there's just something about that. I can see at least better on camera that way. Hopefully you guys can too. So I am gonna switch, I don't know, am I gonna switch the colors up in this one? Maybe not. So here we're gonna create a netted layer that will go back through and add the daggers to. So I've got one of my original colors from that first row on my needle, and I'm gonna go through, like I'm coming out of color A in the second row, and I'm gonna go through color B from the second row. It's gonna get confusing because I should have called A the first color I used, but you know, hindsight. And then it's just original color, color B from the second row, original color. And it's going to be a really subtle difference. But we're just gonna pop these in between those other picot beads all the way across the earring. Triple check, I believe that's what I did. You're right-handed and work left to right. That's interesting, Maria. I switch back and forth. I'm slightly ambidextrous, but not always, and definitely not when I'm on camera. It's very much about making it work for the angle I'm holding my work at and not working around my my camera stand any more than I have to. So the last set of those beads I add is going to go through just my picot there at the end, and it's just you're adding the 3 beads at a time. And sometimes they'll stick out more than others depending on your color choices and thusly the brands. But you're going to add one of these original color beads and go back through the closest color A from the second row, and then the original bead from the first row. So that's how all the beads are going to shake up. And I could not have picked more blendy colors. I apologize, guys. But I was trying to do something different than my first one, of course. I just went through the hoop, and then I'm going to go back through all the beads that I just went through the other direction. So my goal is to just come out of, you're going to exit that one, the last bead you added. That's where you're going to exit from. So then you have to decide what colors you want to string. I really think I want a little bit more of this darker, it's not really dark, but it's like a blue tealy sort of color. So in this first spot, I'm going to put 2 of my size 11s on, whatever color you choose, the dagger, and then 1 size 11. And you are going to skip over the beads until you get to the first center, that accent color from that netted. So it's the middle of the 3 beads you were adding in the previous row. And the quantity is just for the edges, the 2 and the 1. The rest of the time we're going to add 2 of this seed bead we're using now, 1 dagger, and then 2 more seed beads. And again, you're not going through your picot beads, so skip those. You're going to go through that same color that's sticking out further in the last row. Oh yeah, I needed a little bit more of that like subtle color in my life in this earring here. And these daggers are just fantastic. I just priced them all at $8 a strand. Some of them I see a lot of this style at $10 a strand, but I wanted to make sure they were affordable and that people could maybe get a couple colors if they wanted to. The other thing about this project is the beads, the last row of seed beads in your daggers might not hang like crazy evenly, but it's okay. They can kind of zigzag a little bit, like however they need to. I'm gonna have to sell a couple pairs of these earrings in the store maybe, or just wear all the ones that I keep making because I keep making a bunch of them. And then on this last, I just realized I was doing this wrong. Hold on here. So thank you so much, Maria. I'm really happy with this earring. It's just a fun, and you could play around with the counts and do this with other shapes and sizes. It's just a matter of you being comfortable doing that. So when you have 4 daggers on there, you have to switch off and do just 1 seed bead and then a dagger and then 2 seed beads. And that's going to help the edge to hang down a little bit more. Otherwise, they're going to stick out a little bit. And then you go through that edge, that bead that you added singularly, kind of in the corner there. And I show you guys in almost every other video how to start and stop your thread and tie knots. I would even suggest, if you're using a thread this thin, to turn around and reinforce that bottom row. Your earrings won't get a lot of wear and tear, so it's not crucial, but especially if you're giving them away. Like, I'm a lot more gentle with my jewelry than I think most people are, so I don't worry about myself and my earrings getting a beating, but maybe other people are going to not be so kind to their jewelry. So that's a wrap. That is all the tricks of the trade. So remember, you guys, if you have questions about certain bead colors, go ahead and shoot me a message on Facebook or my email address. I bet I have that here somewhere. You can use this one. There we go. Any email address you have for me is fine, but that is one that will go through to me. So thank you so much for joining me for these earrings. I hope you guys had fun with this, like totally 2 completely different styles and ideas. And I can't wait to see if you are on Facebook and would like to join in the fun. We have a group called Beads in Progress. So if you search that exact name and then look for Beads to Live By as the admin on that group, there is like a question just to get people through that are not spammers, but we love to see people share what they're working on with our beads and our designs. So thanks, Maria. Thanks, Mary. And everyone who joins us after the live broadcast, we really appreciate you being here. I'm going to go make my dog his dinner and clean up my mess, hopefully finish my earrings. And again, I cannot wait to see what you guys do with your projects. Mwah! Have a great night. Bye.